What if I told you that Howard Marks, the man Warren Buffett reads before breakfast, the calm voice investors trust when the world shakes, just issued one of his quietest and most easily missed warnings of the year? Because in December 2025, Marks didn't declare a bubble. He didn't predict a crash. He didn't raise his voice. Instead, he pointed to something far more chilling. A subtle shift in psychology. A faint tightening inside the market's invisible machinery that almost no one notices until it's too late. And yes, these are the exact warnings Marks emphasized this week. He says the market has entered the most deceptive phase of every cycle. The phase where everything feels fine, where stocks rise effortlessly, where optimism becomes culture, where people feel rewarded, brilliant, invincible. But beneath that comfort, the cycle is turning, quietly. Marks has seen this calm before. In 1973, in 1987, in 2000, in 2007, in 2021. Every time, the danger never looked dangerous. It looked familiar, comfortable, normal, and that's how cycles always begin to shift. Marks says psychology, not fundamentals, is the real engine of markets. Right now, investors are repeating one of the most dangerous lies in financial history. The way things are today is the way they will stay. It's the same trap that seduced investors in 1969, 1987, 2000, 2007, and again in 2021. People see 3 years of strong returns and assume the next 3 will match the last 3. They see the strength of the Magnificent Seven and assume dominance is forever. They see rallies and assume dips are buying opportunities, not warnings. But Marks reminds us, this is exactly how bubbles form. Quietly, slowly, invisibly. This blindness is now showing up in valuations. The other 493 companies, the average names in the S&P 500, are trading at P/E 20, 21, even 22. Their historical average? 16 to 17. So why are ordinary companies priced like extraordinary ones? Why is mediocrity being valued as guaranteed greatness? Almost no one is asking these questions. But Marks is, because expensive markets rarely crash. But they almost always disappoint. When the S&P trades at P/E 24 to 25, the historical 10-year return range tightens to near zero. Not drama, not a prediction, just math. And yet, the crowd behaves as if none of this matters. That's psychology, not analysis. And psychology shifts cycles without permission. Here's the twist almost no one saw coming. The one that forces you to stop and rethink your assumptions about this market. Marks says the bubble risk is not in Nvidia, not in Apple, not in the Magnificent Seven. In fact, he defends them. Yes, they are expensive. Yes, they are priced for greatness. But they are great with margins, moats, and cash flows the rest of the index simply doesn't have. The real bubble, according to Marks, is somewhere else entirely. Inside the ordinary companies. The forgotten other 493 quiet corners of the index, priced as if extraordinary futures are guaranteed. This is where cracks hide, where fragility forms, where the first domino will fall. Because when expectations are sky-high for mediocre businesses, even a small disappointment becomes a spark. A weak earnings report, a slowdown in consumer spending, a geopolitical ripple, a tick of unemployment. In this environment, a small reevaluation quickly becomes a violent repricing. Marks compares this moment not to 1999, but to 1997. Not the crash, but the silent planting of the seeds. That's why he refuses to predict a crash today. Not because danger isn't present, but because the illusion of safety is the most dangerous condition of all. Most analysts think in extremes, all in or all out, risk on or risk off. Marks hates that. He says investing should feel like flying a plane. You don't jump out when turbulence comes. You adjust altitude, adjust speed, adjust direction, slowly, intelligently, deliberately. This week, he revealed his current stance. InvestCon Level 2, a cautious tilt toward defense. Not fear, not panic, just preparation. Here is the 3-step framework Marks implicitly uses. 1. The offense or defense ratio. In euphoric conditions, reduce offense, high growth, high expectation equities. Increase defense, value, quality, stability, low volatility assets. 2. The valuation reality check. If prices imply perfection, but fundamentals imply normality, shift weight. At PE 24 to 25, the next decade historically delivers 0 to 2% returns. That's not excitement. That's disguised risk. 3. The risk compensation grid. Ask, where am I being paid more for taking less risk? In 2025, the answer is surprising. High-yield bonds offering 7 to 8% returns with less uncertainty than stocks offering 2 to 3%. Marx isn't running away. He's repositioning before the turn, not after. Here's something Marx says few investors believe. His greatest returns didn't come during bull markets, they came during fear. In 2008, while the world was collapsing, Marx deployed billions. Not because he knew the bottom, but because he knew the cycle. When fear dominates, bargains appear. When pessimism peaks, value emerges. When the crowd runs, opportunity whispers. But today is the opposite. Today is comfort, confidence, optimism disguised as safety. And in every cycle of the last 56 years, Marx says the same thing. Comfort is always temporary, and temporary comfort creates permanent vulnerability. Marx's message this week is simple, brutal, and historically consistent. The riskiest moment is the moment when people believe there is no risk. Right now, investors aren't questioning valuations, aren't examining assumptions, aren't challenging narratives, aren't acknowledging that the last 3 years were built on once-in-a-generation monetary distortions and AI mania. Cycles don't end when fear rises. Cycles end when comfort peaks. And today, comfort is everywhere. Investors are fully optimistic, fully invested, fully exposed. Every major cycle in history has followed this same script. And this one will too. Not because Marx predicts it, but because cycles are part of the structure of markets. Marx doesn't want panic. He wants preparation. He wants investors to reposition while the sky is still clear, because once fear returns, decisions become reactive, not strategic. The winners of the next decade are being shaped right now, not during the crash, but during the complacency before the crash. So ask yourself the one question Marx would want you to repeat before your next investment. If the cycle shifted tomorrow, would I be prepared or exposed? Because in every cycle Marx studied, the people who hesitated lost, and the people who prepared quietly became the winners of the next decade.